Hello and welcome to the Startups of London podcast. I'm your host Ozan and the founder of Startups of London. Today I'm joined by Scott Green, founder of Launches.tv. Welcome, Scott.
Hi Ozan, how are you?
I'm all right. I have Launches.tv open in a tab. It looks a lot like, it reminds me a bit of BBC iPlayer, a bit of Netflix, a bit of Amazon Prime. My first question is tell us about the business, and then I'm really curious to jump in to discovering the landscape of streaming with you, because it's a streaming business, right?
It is a streaming business, that's right, yeah.
So tell us about the business model, how does it work? And then I really would like to discover with you the competitive landscape and why it is the right time to be in a business like this. Yeah.
So thanks. Yeah. So you compared it to BBC iPlayer, Netflix, those kind of platforms, but they're more kind of run by rights holders, where our platform's all about user generated content. So it's probably the landscape's more probably YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, where it's user generated content. Because the reason that we set this business up is that there is so much talent in the world today, so much talent. But unfortunately, a lot of people are going unheard, unnoticed, and our platform really allows, small, mid, and large creators to earn considerable money and also get recognised for their talent. So that's kind of what Lounges is. It's a user-generated platform that really nurtures talent, and then we're going to democratise the streaming sector.
That's interesting. So this brings us to a question perhaps about the challenges of building a platform business, because it's a two-sided market. It is not appealing to the content creators if there is no one to watch the content, right?
Yeah, that's right, obviously. So let me go back to the kind of beginning a little bit, but tell you about why we kind of exist in the marketplace today. So, there's never been more content uploaded than ever before. There's never been any more creators than ever before. And what the pandemic did really is streaming was booming before the pandemic. And then the pandemic arrived and it supersized. Everybody decided that, streaming was a very acceptable way to communicate, to entertain yourself. And, it used to be very much, millennials and Gen Zs that were streaming. Now my mum and dad are streaming. Everybody's streaming. So there's huge growth areas in the world of, the streaming marketplace. But as I mentioned before, there's never been more creators than ever before. There's never been more content than ever before. But 99% of people that use streaming platforms or use, YouTube, for example, don't earn any money. Because unless you have 1 million followers, it's very difficult to make any revenues online. Because the current model is all generated by ads. So if you upload a video to YouTube, they'll put an ad at the beginning, ad in the middle, and ad at the end. And if you've got millions of followers, people are going to see that. But unfortunately, only 1% of the world have got, circa 1 million followers. So that's kind of like it. That's a really difficult marketplace at the moment to be found and heard and earn revenue.
It is. I'm just going to push back with the idea of really uncovering what is great about your business. So that's my motivation here. But hear me out. In YouTube and in similar platforms, there is almost an open market dynamic, kind of like a push-pull, a self-balancing mechanism, if you will, in which if a piece of content is not great, it's not going to be watched, and it's not going to be making any money for the creator. Of course, the opposite case is true. If the content is great, it's going to be watched and it's going to make money. So in a way, from the pot of the available ad revenue and the subscription revenue YouTube has, it is divided in terms of how many of those videos create value, and depending on the value that they create. It's an imperfect system, but I think it's the best we got. Is kind of like capitalism, perhaps.
Yeah.
But with other systems in which the user has to audit, take a look, read the description, and then decide, okay, am I going to pay £3 for this? Am I going to pay £5 for this? Is it worth it? Sometimes it is, if you have heard some reviews, if you're hyped up about it, if you have seen, let's say, a trailer, if you got a recommendation from a friend, if there's a social aspect. But other than that, just stumbling onto a piece of content while you're scrolling through the internet, seeing it's £5, not knowing anything about it, it is quite difficult to say, okay, I'll pay for this. So how do you overcome that specific dilemma?
I mean, obviously, content's king, and the quality of your content has to be good, and that's the same on any platform. If your content's not good, no one's going to watch it, no one's going to pay for it, and therefore you won't earn any money. So, what we do with our platform is everyone on our platform. First of all, if we look at the revenue model, what we've done is we've ditched ads. There's no ads on our platform. It's all around pay-per-view. So, and we pay 80% of the revenue for all pay-per-view revenue coming in. So now somebody with maybe, 10,000 followers that only converts 1% of their audience, that's only 100 people. But if you put a paywall in front of that amazing content, which is £5, that revenue that you earn for that one piece of content going to generate you £500 revenue. And we pay that the next day. So, our platform is like the gig economy that meets streaming. But going back to your other point about the quality of the content, is our platform has free previews. So every single bit of content that goes live on lounges, everyone gets to see a preview of that content for, maybe 20, or I think it's 10% of the length of the full feature. So what we do is we allow people to watch the content. If they like it, they then buy it. We don't force people to buy the content before they've actually seen a snippet of it. But what our platform's doing is, we're helping creators bring their current audience, followers, and fans to our platform. So when you create a piece of content on lounges, we give you the widgets for Facebook, widgets for Instagram, widgets for Snapchat, links for WhatsApp, saying, hey, I've produced this content, come and watch it. And they're already following them. They're already fans of them. So the fact is there'd be a much higher conversion rate because they're already watching their content on other platforms. So what we're saying is to our audience is, don't stop creating your short form content on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube. But when you want to create much better content that can warrant sitting behind a paywall, Lounges TV is that platform where you can use our studios, you can use our venues, you could go live on the platform, and we make it very, our technology is very immersive. Brings your fans and your creators together like never before. You can come onto the stage, you can ask questions. It's not just a flat stream like you would watch it on YouTube. So we're helping talent bring their current existing fans to the platform, and then we pay that 80% within 24 hours. So that's one side of our business. And the other side of the business is we've got lots of people, coming to the platform. We have just, we're obviously not the size of all the big boys yet, but we've launched, we've beta launched, we've tested. We've got lots of creators on our platform. We're learning, we're listening, we're adjusting. And, in the beginning of the new year, we're going to be having a much, much bigger marketing campaign. And people that come and watch someone else's content will then go to the platform and we'll recommend you watch this music event. Why don't you watch this? So there's that viral effect that people, audiences are going to come to the platform and watch lots of different pieces of content. And it's not all pay-per-view.
Let's talk about the traffic you have as perhaps part of a larger conversation of when you've started and what's the trajectory been so far?
Yeah, so we've kind of we've built a very big platform that allows creators to do lots and lots of things, and we can come onto the tech layers and all the different features a bit later. So what we've done is we've done a beta stage where we've spoken to thousands of creators. We've asked lots of creators what they like and what they don't like, and we've incorporated that into our platform. So we've ended our beta stage. We're now on to our kind of testing, finishing the testing phase, and we've got lots. As I say, we've got traffic on the platform. It's not in the millions yet. But in the new year, we're hoping to enhance our marketing deals. We've got celebrity ambassadors that we're securing. We've got big creators coming on board. We've just agreed a deal with the Lower Third, which is a venue at the Alternet in central London, an unbelievable venue in a new music venue where we'll be pumping out lots of really great content from there. We've just built our own studios where anybody can use our facilities. It's a really cool streaming service and streaming studio. So we're starting to get loads of content out for that. We're working with lots of different marketing partners from magazines, newspapers, internet platforms that want to partner with us. So we've got some really exciting deals coming out in the first quarter and second quarter of next year that's really going to kind of drive lots and lots of traffic to our platform. So it's not about where we are now, it's where we're going to be over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. And
sounds exciting. Well, what was the inception of this idea? And perhaps with that, we've never talked about your background. So what brought you to building Launches team?
Yes, so my background, I started my career in media, in the kind of beginning of the 90s, really, just as the internet was about, just starting, really. I mean, when I was worked for various different advertising agencies. I used to work at like Saatchi & Saatchi and various different ones. And then the internet blew up, and I was like, wow, it's unbelievable. This is just, this is going to change the world. And it took a bit of time, and there was obviously the dot-com bubble and stuff, but I was always really into the tech, the internet, how it can change people's, world and what you can do and communicate and stuff. And then I started thinking about my next move. So then I went to work for a few different startup businesses, in gaming, in prop tech, and just really kind of engineering myself into the world of technology, and set up a few different startup businesses. Some were very successful, some weren't so successful, but obviously you learn from the failures, and you
that's how it goes. Yeah.
Exactly. You're never going to always strike and hit first, but and then when the pandemic came, I realized that Zoom was just blowing up. It was just such an amazing concept that I can actually speak and communicate with so many different people around the world just by video. And it kind of, like, as I said before, it supersized this whole sector. And then I looked at the whole landscape of the talent marketplace. And as I said before, there is so many talented people in the world: musicians, grassroots bands, chefs, comedians, PTs. Honestly, the list goes on. But 99% of people are not being found. They're not being heard. So I was like thinking, about how about a Zoom with a paywall, where creators can go live on a platform that's now accepted by the world, and build a paywall into it. Because what was happening in the pandemic is people were going live on Zoom, adding their PayPal link to the actual Zoom platform. There's no controls, and we wanted to give back to the talent. We want to give back revenue to the talent, and that's why we came up with this gig economy meets streaming. You go live today, you get paid tomorrow. And we're not necessarily going to make lots of people millionaires, but what we will do is make millions of people a great great income, doing what they love on a platform that rewards them fairly.
The product looks tidy, well designed, and in terms of what I can see, you have here is also looking good as well. So tell me about how you've gone about building this. Do you have a technical background? What type of a team are you working with? And again, perhaps part of that conversation perhaps is the resource bit, which is did you get any external funding? Is it you?
So when you build a platform, you obviously need to speak to the people who are going to be using it. So it's very important for us to listen to our audience, listen to our users, and listen to our creators. But my co-founder is a guy called Craig Gardner, and he is an experienced user, brilliant at design, user experience, customer journeys. So he takes care of all that kind of side of the business, because you could have the best platform in the world. If no one can use it, it's useless. So we've been very, very pedantic on creating a platform that, works well, easy to use, functionality that's very, very simple to go live from. And before we did anything, we did focus groups. Focus groups with the people that are going to be on our platform. Focus groups with the people that are going to be on our platform, but viewers. And just really understood the kind of the mentality of it, because, people are used to going live with a click of a button with Facebook Live and Instagram Live and stuff. So we wanted to create that kind of user experience that takes the best out of Facebook, the best out of this platform, because maybe remove some of the other painful points that people don't use. So as I say, this hasn't been just like built in a day or designed in a day. It's been built over speaking to lots and lots of people, about what they love, what they don't love, and other platforms, and listening, learning, and basically creating a platform that is fit for purpose for lots of different kind of use cases.
Yeah, so do you have an in-house team of developers working on this? Is it like an external agency? Because I think that's like a big part of building a business like this.
Yeah, so we've got a small team of developers in house, but we didn't build this platform from scratch. So we're using a development company that lives, breathes streaming. Mm-hmm. One of our partners in the business is a man called a guy called Ben Lavender. Mm-hmm. Ben Lavender founded BBC iPlayer. Very experienced. He's probably the veteran of streaming. You know, he created the iPlayer way before anybody else even thought about streaming. So
yeah. I had interviewed Anthony, who's running Seed Legals now. He told me he was in the core team that built the BBC iPlayer. Maybe they worked together for a while.
Yes, Anthony at Seed Legals. Yeah, so he was involved in the conceptual of it. I think more from a commercial standpoint, where Ben was more of a technology standpoint.
Got it. Okay.
But the point being is, you know, what I've done with my business is I've brought in lots of different advisors in the different kind of areas that I need to exploit. You know, I don't know everything. My partner Craig doesn't know everything. So, you know, our three pillars really are, you know, investment, tech, marketing, and kind of like, you know, industry in like music and talent agencies. So we've got a really good, you know, board of people that we can go to ask advice on whatever we're looking to, you know, obtain advice on. But going back to the tech, so we really, you know, spoke with Ben, understood our requirements, we scoped it out, and we decided to use a technology company, as I said before, that really you know, lives, breathes streaming, and we built a great platform by bringing lots of different components together. And you know, we've got apps coming, we've got TV apps coming. At the moment, you can go live from your mobile or web. And then we've got an in-house team that works with our development company as well. So we've got the kind of the best of both worlds on that front.
Jumping onto a different topic, which I think is, I try to make a habit of touching on this point because I think it's a key part of becoming an entrepreneur. How do you think London as a city could do better as a hub for entrepreneurs in your experience?
Well, I mean, it's a tough time at the moment. You know, it's very hard at the moment, you know, to launch a business. That, you know, there's the rising energy prices, interest rates going up. You know, there's the pool of investors potentially is probably going to go down. But you know, it's not a bad place to launch a business. It's vibrant. There's lots of new exciting companies coming out of London. The government have launched, you know, really innovative schemes like EIS to help investment and help investors invest into new startups. Yeah. Obviously, the EIS scheme is a great scheme where, you know, it does limit the amount of exposure an investor is going to have on any investment. And, you know, should that investment fail, not only you're going to get the initial I think it's 40, but it depends on if you're SEIS or EIS, but a big percentage of that's going to come back. And if the business does fail, you get even more back. Your exposure is probably 40%. I mean, that's something the government put in place, which is really helping startup businesses in the technology space get funding, go live, and actually create some great technology businesses. It's not easy, but, you know, it's about never giving up. Always, you know, continuing to focus on what you believe in and what you believe your business should do. And if you've got the right business, you've got the right mentality, and you don't give up, you will find funding and you will succeed. It just might take a little bit longer over the next 9 to 12 months.
I mean, I think London has amazing potential as a startup hub because it has access to a certain amount of talent. It has access to capital. It has a vibrant atmosphere from co-working places to accelerators to incubators and everything in between.
Totally agree with you. Yeah,
you can find their co-founders, a lot of great things going for London. But at the same time, over the last 3.5 years since we launched Startups of London, this is an area we've been mega exposed to. I think it could be, like, I would say it's perhaps fulfilling 20% of its potential. It could do, I think, at least 5x, 10x better. And I think the way to do that would most likely go through something of a perception about what an entrepreneur is, and I would like to ask your thoughts on that. How, in your experience, first of all, do you introduce yourself as an entrepreneur, right? That's kind of the question. And let me share a quick story before you answer this. We were in a comedy club a few weeks ago, and we had to sit in the front row because all the other seats were taken. And I was just hoping they don't ask me what my occupation is, because it's just, I don't want to say I'm an entrepreneur, because
No.
whenever I say I'm an entrepreneur, and I don't say it that often because I get a few negative reactions, but I know it's going to be the butt of the joke, right? And not just in an environment where it's okay to make jokes like a comedy club. It is, the perception is, in my experience, not that positive. It goes, somehow I feel entrepreneurs were seen as heroes back in 2005, 2006, up to 2010, and perhaps a few years later. And then they're kind of figures that are vilified in a way, right?
Yeah.
People think there's something phony with it. People think that you're kind of this dishonest, sleazy person who somehow stole their way to the top, or some other thing. And I think that's quite damaging for the ecosystem and people's enthusiasm to become entrepreneurs. And this perhaps goes a bit with the British skepticism that we love, but perhaps we are overdoing it a bit. I don't know. Do you introduce yourself as an entrepreneur?
No.
Going
So I
back
think
to the
people,
question,
I think
and how do you think
people,
people perceive it?
yeah, I would never introduce myself as an entrepreneur, but obviously, I think a lot of people may name people as entrepreneurs,
Mm.
but not actually name themselves as one. I think it's a little bit. I don't know if the word arrogant is the right word, but if someone said to me, what do you do? I wouldn't say I'm an entrepreneur. I'd rather say, I'm like a tech innovator. I try and think outside the box and create products that that are different and that have great longevity. I wouldn't say I'm an entrepreneur. I am, I suppose, an entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur, definition of an entrepreneur is somebody that has their own, that comes up with concepts, launches businesses, raise funds, and hopefully exit businesses. But I would never classify myself, if someone asked me as an entrepreneur, I'd rather say I'm a CEO of a technology company and I love innovating businesses for technology. But it is a kind of a bit of a funny word. If I did meet somebody and someone said, "Oh, I'm an entrepreneur," it doesn't really describe them that well. What is an entrepreneur? Is it tech? Is it, there's so many different particles of being an entrepreneur, and good description of who you are as a person. I would love to be called entrepreneur by other people, but I wouldn't be called that. I wouldn't call myself an entrepreneur to somebody else in a room, and especially not in a comedy club.
Yeah, that's
You're asking for trouble, and
that's just asking for it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
But going back to the point, when you say I'm the CEO of a tech company, I mean, the perception around that used to be more positive, don't you think? It kind of has changed in the last few years. Are you feeling that? And going back to my previous point, you might disagree with this. I would love to hear your thoughts, but basically, I'm just trying to understand whether you also think a change in perception for the worse around tech CEOs, entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call
No,
them.
I'm not seeing that at all. Actually, I think that's what my role is. I'm the chief executive officer of a technology company. I mean, I am what I am, and that's what I am. So I don't think people are turning their nose up when you say you're CEO. I don't even introduce myself as a CEO. Who am I? I'm Scott Green. I'm running a company that's hopefully going to change millions and millions of people and help millions of people earn good revenue on a streaming platform. That's who I am. CEO, entrepreneur, team maker, whatever I am. I'm a team player. There is no hierarchy in my company. I've got 15 staff. We're all in a mission to all together to help all these millions of creators and get my hands stuck in. I'm not this person that I am the CEO, so I can't do that. We've got a great opportunity. We've got a great business. We're getting great feedback, and we're all in it together. And I am Scott Green. This happens to be running a company in the creator economy space.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. Before we wrap up, Scott, are you hiring for anyone? Because sometimes people from our audience reaches out to our guests if they're hiring for open roles.
We are always hiring. We're always looking for amazing talent. We've got a fantastic team in house. We've got developers. We've got user experience people. We've got design, and we are looking for people that can help us bring in talent. We are working with lots of really talented music, labels and artists and talent companies. So yeah, we're always on the lookout for talented people that can help, bring people to our platform. We're not just music; we're education, we're fitness, we do podcasts, we do cooking. So always looking for new talent. We're just also looking now we've closed a while ago our kind of seed round, which was in September 2021, of course, time goes. And now we're looking, we've had a few approaches from some investment companies about, are you interested in moving forward to a Series A? So we've now decided that we're moving forward to a Series A, and we're going to raise some more funding to be able to deliver on our beliefs and also spend more money on building our brand, building our marketing campaigns, getting more people on the platform, doing some really strategic marketing deals. So, if anyone's out there, they've got, is a fund, or they, love my business and they really passionate like we are about the creator economy and actually how unweighted it is for so many people, please get in touch with me, because, this is an exciting 3 years ahead for us. I think that the space we're entering is big. There's huge growth. There's huge room for a challenger platform like Loungers that can come in and take some market share, and we're seeing that now because we're getting a lot of sign-ups to our platform. So yeah, just to summarize, looking for people that have got a great talent that want to come into a business like mine. They can see themselves fitting in. Please reach out to me, and if anyone is looking to invest in a challenger creator economy platform, then again, love to chat.
Scott, thank you for everything that you've shared. I would like to end on a note about the market dynamics here for other entrepreneurs, other tech startup founders who might be interested in this space. Yes, there is a lot of competition. There's this trend of, we've never talked about it in this chat, but you might have heard of it before, which is what they call like bundling and unbundling, like the swing of a pendulum with most of the content creation type of businesses. And I think we are at the cusp of another unbundling, because a lot of people are consuming content as well. Yes, there are more content creators, more so than there has ever been. The same could be said for the amount we spend consuming content, looking at screens. And there is a lot of optimization to be done there, because we want to be able to. We pay either way, right? We pay with our time. We pay a subscription fee to a service, and I think that barrier has been broken. There was a time where people used to say, "Oh, am I going to pay for something that I watch on the internet?" No way. You remember that? It was like 8 years ago. Even that, like,
that's still the same mindset. That is still I hear lots of people say to me, "Why should I pay for the content? I can watch it for free."
Yeah,
but that's what we're doing. Is that there's a lots of short form content that exists in the marketplace today. Lots of TikTok, lots of small, quick stuff.
Yeah.
And as I said to you before, is we're not saying to our creators, don't continue to create short form content. But when you want to create good content that does warrant a paywall, rather than doing a 3 minute song, why don't you do a concert? You've got audiences. People are willing to pay for good quality content. It's proven. Look at Netflix. Look how many people have signed up to watch the Meghan and Harry thing. It's never, I think there's 16 million people that have watched it. But what is also happening is subscription revenue is declining because people are finding it hard at the moment with having you've got your Netflix, you've got your Amazon Prime, you've got all the other direct debits you have. And what we're seeing is there has been a decline in subscription revenue. People are cutting down on stuff, and so a lot of the research that we've had is people want to pay for what they want to watch, not what they don't want to watch. And so this is why with this micro payments that we're doing, watch this for £1 or watch this for £4, or that people are. I think that there's going to be a big shift in subscription versus pay-per-view.
Indeed. The direction, the trajectory of all these habits are amazingly important, and I think they're pointing in the right direction. Thank you for joining the chat for
Thank
us.
you so much. It's been a pleasure to meet you, Ozan, and I wish you a great Christmas.
Thank you, Scott. You as well.